The honeymoon with some sections of the Catholic population lasted barely a year. By the beginning of 1971, it looked like divorce. The turnaround happened when the army was ordered to search nationalist areas for the IRA's weapons. The IRA, which was almost extinct when the troops came in, gained a new lease of life, regenerated by the army's actions. Did you feel the hatred?
Yeah. Yeah, God, yeah, you could feel it. It was like an animal. The whole area was like something from hell, I suppose, really.
By that summer, the IRA had not only blitzed Belfast, but killed 14 soldiers and policemen. Sectarian tensions tore communities apart. Reluctantly, the government agreed to internment without trial.
It was thought that there were several hundred villains who were responsible for most of the mayhem which was going on, the shooting and the bombings and so on. And if these could be picked up and put out of circulation, peace could be restored.
Nationalist areas erupted as 3,000 troops poured in to take away their fathers and sons. Whole communities were uprooted.
As we flew over Belfast, it seemed to me whole streets were burning. You could see roads that were obviously had been blocked and were barricaded. You could see fires from bonfires, from ruined cars and burning houses.
And how did that strike you?
Pretty amazing, really. Something that I'd never seen before. I was only 19. And it was a sort of realization that this was happening in a city of the United Kingdom.
Over 300 Catholics and not one Protestant were lifted. Many were totally innocent. Intelligence was poor. The IRA had known that internment was coming, and its men were not at home.
All, as far as I'm concerned, it did was turn a larger number of the nationalist population, who at that time had been firmly on our side and very sensibly on our side, against us. And to my simple mind, as a regimental soldier, it was lunacy.
Wasn't internment a disaster?
Oh, far from it. A number of those who were taken, and not by any means the most junior in the ranks of the IRA, were described by those who were carrying out interrogation as singing like canaries.
The Canaries were a dozen key IRA suspects identified by British intelligence. Whilst most internees were herded into special camps, the dozen were singled out for special in-depth interrogation. It was MI5's idea. The IRA suspects were hooded, made to stand against a wall and subjected to what became known as the 5 techniques. Liam Shannon was one of the hooded men.
I continually tried to pull the bag off, but it was tied so tightly around my throat and onto the epaulets it was impossible to get off.
The IRA call themselves soldiers. They say they're carrying warfare and so on. They must be prepared to be frightened if they're captured under interrogation and so on.
So that began what was called the 5 techniques for me. It was sensory deprivation, wall standing, restricted diet, and white noise, as they called it, white noise.
What was white noise?
White noise I can only describe to be like compressed air or steam hissing from a pipe. Now, the degree varied from time to time. Sometimes it was soft, sometimes it got very loud, almost ear-piercing.
Is it all right to put a bag over somebody's head, stand them against a wall, subject them to high-pitched, constant noise?
Well, you see, that you come to a limit to whatever you're going to do. I would have thought that that type of activity has overstepped the limit.
In an unprecedented case, the Irish government took the British to the European Court of Human Rights. Embarrassingly, Britain was found guilty of inhuman and degrading treatment. Shannon received £25,000 in compensation.
If by standing someone up against a wall, depriving him of sleep, playing white sound to him, whatever, you can actually get information from him which is going to save lives, then some people would argue that you should do that. And I think this argument shouldn't be too lightly dismissed.
These techniques may have saved some lives, but after internment the death toll still soared. In the 6 months before, the IRA killed 10 soldiers. In the 6 months after, it killed 40. Army commanders had little doubt what to do to respond to the IRA's increasingly bloody campaign. What was your mission statement?
I had a very simple mission statement from 39 Brigade. That was to destroy the IRA in my area, which was, as a battalion commander, that was meat and drink to me, and that's what we got on to do.
What did destroying the IRA mean?
Well, it means capturing or killing everybody who was killing and maiming innocent people in my area.
Snipers accounted for most of the Army's dead. Soldiers often faced an unseen enemy fighting on home ground. What did you call the area? What was it known as?
The reservation, yeah. The reservation. And
because?
Well, it was Indian country, wasn't it?